Alright guys, how's it going? My name is Nyxre and welcome to another episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Teemo, where today I'm going to be covering full AP Malphite. To start off, as will be provided at the beginning of every episode in this series, here's a quick reference guide and or cheat sheet for anyone interested in referring back to this at a later time, or for anyone interested in seeing how I went about testing this build out myself. An Imgur link to this reference guide can be found down in the description below. So starting off with the good things about AP Malphite, first and foremost, AP Malphite does an absolutely crazy amount of damage once he's gotten a few items. His AP ratios on both his Q and his ultimate are surprisingly good, which allows for him to chunk enemy carries late game. Coupled with a few cooldown reduction items, you can usually put out quite a bit of damage over extended periods of time in lane. Additionally, when you build Malphite as full AP, you don't lose out on any of the incredible crowd control that he has to offer. Even if you were to get blown up fairly quickly, as long as you land your ultimate in your combo, you've likely done plenty to turn most teamfights into your favor. One could argue that the crowd control offered by a full AP Malphite is better than normal, as assuming your ultimate lands, it will result in most of the enemies hit to be very low on health, if not dead. Along with this, Malphite's W and E still make him a good choice against a team with multiple AD carries, even if going full AP. This is because of the attack speed slow provided from his ground slam and the extra armor provided from his W passive. This means that items such as Zhonya's Hourglass are far more efficient on Malphite, as the passive alone gives you an extra 15 armor. Even in the laning phase, a full AP Malphite can prove to be very effective in certain matchups. The constant poke and slow provided from his Seismic Shard can slowly chunk the enemy laner down. Coupled with his passive, Malphite can usually withstand most poke thrown at him in lane, as long as you stay out of combat long enough to constantly have your shield up. And lastly, building full AP Malphite is amazing for creating picks. If you manage to spot the enemy jungler, ulting them can usually result in a kill, which will allow for your team to easily secure either Baron or Dragon, and picking off the fed enemy AD carry usually means multiple objectives for your team. Moving on to the bad things about building full AP Malphite, you have the issue that he cannot replace a full tank. Even if very far ahead, you're likely to be punished if exposed to the enemy team for more than a few seconds. This will likely force one of your teammates to build tank to compensate. In many cases, this really shouldn't be too big of a problem, as you can essentially build your team comp as if Malphite was a traditional mid lane mage. Another issue with AP Malphite is the importance of landing your ultimate. This is, of course, a very important aspect of playing Malphite regardless of how you build him, but for AP Malphite in particular, it is crucial as missing it means that you're missing out on a ton of damage as well as the crowd control. Due to the fact that you won't be very tanky, missing an ultimate also means that you are almost certainly going to die. Because of this, it can be very useful if your team has a support with good crowd control, so that you can guarantee that your ultimate does land. Unfortunately, building full AP won't make Malphite amazing at clearing waves. While it certainly isn't terrible, as 2 or 3 ground slams is usually enough to clear an entire wave, it isn't amazing. And in many cases it won't be sufficient when trying to stop an enemy from split pushing. In cases like these, items like Luden's Echo can come in handy, or attempting to bait the enemy under your turret so you can ult them on the very edge of the turret aggro range and go for the kill. Moving on to the Teemo, this is a section for everything which is really bad about AP Malphite, and primarily deals with the fundamental problems of building Malphite in this particular way. First of all, Malphite has absolutely no mobility outside of his ultimate. Normally, this isn't a problem when you build him as a tank, as you could simply walk away from any threat. However, with how squishy you'll be after building full AP, some situations will require you to use your ult to distance yourself from the enemy team. This unfortunately means that for 2 minutes or so, most of your damage and crowd control is gone. Another crucial problem with building full AP Malphite is how easily items like Banshee's Veil counter him. While Banshee's Veil already proves to be annoying against a standard Malphite, it's even more effective when bought against one which is built full AP. It will nullify the knockup and allow for them to immediately focus and kill you. This can of course be avoided if your team has plenty of poke to pop the veils beforehand, but in many cases you'll find yourself hesitating to go in. And finally, AP Malphite really just doesn't work against certain lane matchups. While it's possible for you to get some CS with your Q, certain long-range champions can deny large quantities of farm from you, leading for you to get further and further behind as the game progresses. Normally this wouldn't be an issue, as eventually you'd have enough magic resistant armor to simply ignore them, but when building full AP, many lane opponents will attempt to bully you out of lane by not allowing your passive to reset. In cases like this, you're much better off playing him as the immovable tank that his lore sets him out to be. Anyways, that's full AP Malphite for you. I found this build to be very fun, especially in matches where I found myself ahead of my lane opponent. Malphite really is a very simple champion to play, so when you throw a full AP build in there with him, the outcome can be quite hysterical. Feel free to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and subscribe if you're new around here and would like to see more. If you didn't like the video, feel free to leave a dislike. All I ask is that you leave a comment with what you think I could have done better, so that my future content can continue to improve. But anyways, that's all I have for you all today, and I will see you all in the next one.